Hello.
Podcast.
Are you guys stuck in Margaritaville?
It's Pina Colada-burg.
Because I am wasted away again in Margaritaville. I'm actually not drunk at all, but it's a great song that's stuck in my head.
You very much could be. There's more than enough potential in this house.
That is true.
Grant.
I could, but I'm not. We got to talk about some very serious scientific political debate sort of things.
No, it's true because we are starting a cult. That's Grant. Jake. Mitch is here.
Yeah, he is. He's here. He's in the room. He just installed some lamps.
It's true. They have bears and moose. Meese? Is it meese?
Mooses. It's
I think
completely
it's meese.
inaccurate, but it's fun.
Well, we got that. We got the roosters. We got the crocodile head. The room is coming together.
Yeah, it's slowly getting there. But I want everyone to be very aware of one thing. Last week, we talked about Admiral Byrd, right? Everybody knows him, lovable character.
Yeah.
Long-lost cousin to one Big Bird. They both, resided in the same town as children.
It's true. Same street, actually.
Yeah, so sometimes we come into an episode where there's just so much shit that it's almost impossible to do. I would say kind of like Skinwalker Ranch. You know what I mean? Like
that just ended up being so many episodes.
Yeah, it's like there are so many things that you could talk about that it's hard to boil it down into two. And I feel as if, I said it last week, I needed time to digest Admiral Byrd's story.
Yeah. Yeah, you seem surprised.
Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things that I think I was semi-familiar with, and then after, actually thinking about it and hearing about it again, you're like, wait a minute. If it's real, that's the craziest thing that's ever happened. If it's not real, it's the best story that's ever been told. It's just amazing.
True. But at least with Skinwalker Ranch, we knew it was going to be multiple parts going in. This one, it was just like, well, we probably need to do this again.
Yeah, pretty much, because I feel... The reasoning for this is I feel as if we didn't give justice to the actual Hollow Earth theory. We kind of just talked about him. It was his episode.
I just read a motherfucker's diary.
We Anne Franked this shit, but it wasn't sad. It was funny. So instead of doing something different, I decided why not talk about it in 2 weeks? Am I right?
Just a little light conversation about the Hollow Earth.
So. Okay, I want to. This can go one of two ways. And Jake, you're my partner here.
I'm here.
How should this go? Should we start by discussing Admiral Byrd a little bit deeper and asking wonderful rhetorical questions to the audience, or should we move into the actual theory that is the Hollow Earth? He's struck. He's dumbstruck. He's like, what do I do here?
Mitch is mouthing something.
Mitch just has a decision. Scream it, Mitch. Scream it. Admiral Byrd.
Maybe we'll start there.
So, the question that has been burning in my mind, and I want
Birding?
Everyone, yeah, birding.
Birding.
I'm glad Mitch is here, because Mitch is he's a flat Earth expert. He's the guy you go to.
He is.
And
that's just one level off of what we're talking about.
Yeah, he's being modest, but he actually runs multiple churches that are dedicated to this very idea.
No, we know you're crazy. Mitch, look at your shirt.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing one of the podcast shirts. Go on Patreon and get one of those.
Yeah, definitely. But the question that's been burning in my fucking mind, and I know for a fact none of us in this room can give us an honest answer to this question, but I want personal takes. First and foremost, what's going on with the swastika? What are we thinking? What are we thinking with this? How does this get incorporated into the people that live in the Hollow Earth?
Well, I think maybe if it wasn't true, his whole story, his whole shtick. If it wasn't true, it was a very popular and polarizing symbol at the time that he discovered it. It was just 2 years after World War II. Right?
That is true.
But on the other hand, the swastika was not always associated with the fucking Nazis. I think they just inverted it, and it used to be a part of Indian culture.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So who the fuck knows? Maybe the Indian people have little taps into the earth.
Ooh, see, that's something that's going to come up a little bit later.
Mitchell has a point to make.
All right, Mitch, tap in.
The thing that's kind of interesting about the swastika thing is that people have always, pondered the idea that like the Nazis, like during like the 30s, they used to explore, like they used to go all around the world and like explore places, and that might have something to do with the swastika. Well, definitely because the swastika, I don't think originated in Germany.
No, it was India.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that might have something to do with it. Let's say the story is true and, the Nazis knew about these people and maybe emulated them, but I don't know.
Maybe it's like the Silk Road, but instead of spices, it's swastikas.
Ooh, spices and swastikas. That's
Instead
a great
of,
one.
Across Europe into Asia, it's just from Germany to Middle Earth.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yeah, now
Maybe.
if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure that there is a better explanation out there. But I was always led to believe that, the symbol of the swastika was actually, it was something along the lines of like the 4 elements of the earth were each a line, and it shows how they all kind of like work in tandem. It's like a square wheel,
Yeah, which is kind of like a strangely sickening thought that like the Germans were just like, yeah, no, that makes sense for what we're trying to do. It's like that's kind of fucked up.
So I definitely feel that, and I think you guys raised some good points because we got both of the things that I wanted to talk about that may or may not raise some questions. Could it be that possibly it's a symbol like Jake said, where it's obviously internationally known, it's probably the most notable symbol on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's something that maybe they have the technology or the means to do that to where it's recognizable. But again, that's kind of, it's an odd thing because it's not
It's a bad
good
association.
recognizable.
Yeah, it's not good. You should not have swastikas anywhere, really.
Or
now.
Well, yeah, probably not. Unless you're like a museum or something, you probably shouldn't have them.
Yeah, yeah. And those people that are just like small town people, like, yeah, I'm a collector of World War II paraphernalia. It's like, no, you just have a bunch of Nazi flags in your basement. And that's like where you hang out, dude. Like, what's
this is the rumpus
what are you
room.
doing down there? You're like wearing the hat and shit. It's not good.
Yeah, you're taking it a little too far. You're not a collector. You're
shooting
an
V-darts with like the fucking armbands and shit. It's not cool.
But to me that seems a bit crazy. But again, now this is to assume for these scenarios that Richard Byrd was telling the absolute truth. Obviously, that's kind of a reach, if you want to get technical, it's a reach. But they are something. It's a symbol that has historical value on this planet. So maybe maybe they're old enough. Maybe
apparently
it's an old
in the
society.
planet, yeah.
I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but this is going to open the door for something else. For those of you familiar with very, very like strange alien encounters, things of that nature, Mitch turned me on to this guy both knowledgeably and sexually because now I'm turned on by him.
Okay.
His name is Corey Good. Okay, this guy.
That guy.
This guy's a fucking. It's probably the most interesting stuff I've ever encountered in this topic. I guess here's the question: where do we begin to dissect this guy? Corey Good. Long story short, this guy, he's worked in the field of extraterrestrial travel. He's been sort of a liaison, if you will, for the extraterrestrial community. And it turns out that according to him, not all extraterrestrials are from other planets. They're from the inside of our Earth. More specifically, something we've mentioned in passing on this show before, as a joke, the blue sphere beings. They reside in the center of the Earth. Are you guys aware of the blue sphere beings?
Are they just orbs, or are they just a separate thing? Are there orbs and blue sphere beings in different categories?
They're okay.
Because I know orbs have a lot to do with like paranormal and spiritual, like ghosts and shit.
Yeah,
Skinwalker Ranch as well.
Yeah,
where
do.
There's just openings to other dimensions in the sky.
Skinwalker Ranch has a pretty easy connection, I'd say, like with that one story with the orbs, that we're kind of following them around.
They're kind of
weird
fucking
lights.
with them. Yeah. Screwing with dogs and shit.
But the blue sphere beings they're essentially, picture this, all right? Just get ready, strap in. They are sentient dirty bubbles from SpongeBob. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I know Dirty But he's sentient. So is it just a bunch of dirty bubbles that are blue?
Yeah, they are blue. That is all.
They are blue.
That is all.
All right.
No. So they're extremely knowledgeable. They are, if I'm not mistaken, they're fifth dimensional beings.
Yeah, they can help you with your homework.
So for those, they're two steps above us, actually, which that's a whole topic in and of itself.
It's a bit of overkill. You don't gotta be that much better than us.
Dimensional
Orbs.
beings. So it's like we don't know what the fourth.
I don't know what
is.
the fuck is going on here. Wait, a question. So extraterrestrial beings, would that be an interterrestrial being?
I think it would just be a terrestrial being. It's from here.
Subterranean being. Terrestrial.
Yes, subterrestrial.
Something. Subterrestrial. There we go.
What was I going to say about that? Oh, yeah, so the blue sphere beings, they kind of are just, they're crazy knowledgeable, and in one of the recountings, all of his interview series is on, I believe it's called disclosureforum.net or .com, and you do have to pay to watch, or you get a free subscription, I guess, or a trial.
A man's got to make a living, yeah.
But it is a very in-depth series of things where he talks, even if you don't want to believe in it, it is just some crazy shit to hear. It's just outlandish. But the blue sphere beings are able to encapsulate humans. And not in a negative way. Let's say you're falling. The blue spheres can kind of just pick you up and you can breathe. And they'll just float you back down so you don't die. There's been reports by Corey Goode that they've taken people into space. You don't need spacesuits. They're just, the blue spheres will protect you.
Jesus Christ.
So that is one possible inhabitant. And then Mitch is going to be able to explain the second inhabitant a little bit better. And we're talking about the avian people, the bird men. Mitch, what do you know about the bird people? Okay, give me some knowledge.
I have one question for you. What color are their feathers?
They're blue.
God damn, everything's fucking blue down there.
So, one thing you got to understand about Corey Goode, a lot of the stuff that he talks about comes from different things. So he talks about aliens and then it gets into spirituality and stuff like that. And I think a lot of the stuff that he talks about comes from this series called I think it's called the Ra material. Ra, the Egyptian god.
R-A-H?
R-A. Ra. You know, the sun god.
Something else.
And it's the series, what is it called? The Law of One. So I think a lot of that stuff comes from that. And the blue avian people are kind of not directly, talked about in that series, but they're alluded to. And essentially, from what Corey Goode talks about, is that these blue avians only come into our dimension or make contact with humans every so many thousand years. There's some kind of cycle.
They're like cicadas.
Yeah, and they would come and bring knowledge to people. So it relates to the ancient Egyptians. And how fantastic their civilization was, and according to Corey Goode, or the Law of One series,
that was the last time they showed up to teach people about some shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why they think that it's so fantastic that ancient Egyptians, their civilization was because of the blue avians.
There are old pieces of artwork from Egypt of avian looking people, right? Dudes with bird heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what is
there
it
it's undeniable.
Anthropomorphic?
Undeniable.
People.
It's undeniable proof.
I do love a good anthropomorph. That's just
Anthropomorphs.
So yeah, they're another. I mean, like Mitch said, there are other. I get other dimensional beings. I don't know
Something.
But they've been known to peruse and kind of stomp around in the center of the Earth. As far as crazy stories and theories go, there's a lot. I would say that on average, it's pretty, at least among people that buy into the Hollow Earth theory, it's pretty common that there's some form of, there's species, there's everything from flora and fauna to water to the biggest ocean in the universe to fucking everything. It's everything. It's got it all.
I mean, bringing it back to Admiral Byrd, I mean, he said he saw mammoths. Like, that was one of the first things that he reported in his, flight log. He was like, there's a fucking mammoth in here.
It's like, how did that thing get
He didn't
down
even
here?
know he was inside the Earth yet. He was like, I see a mammoth. I'm flying down right by it.
That would be, one of the coolest things in the world.
That would be
to
so
see.
amazing.
So, Admiral Byrd, kind of as we said last week, we're able to ascertain that this dude clearly comes highly recommended. All right, if he's getting a reference letter, it's a good reference. He's got credentials, he's got the history, he's a trusted, well-respected individual. So I guess my final question about Admiral Byrd is this, and I pose it to you as opinion. What do we think of the overall story? Do we buy things about it? Can it be something different than what he's explaining? Maybe it's just a different part of the world. Maybe he's fucked up, or he's on drugs, or he passed out.
It would be weird. I don't know. Maybe it's something with the magnetism coming from the Earth or some shit.
Yeah, some
on
type
the poles.
of
Maybe it's
sickness.
it's acting as some sort of hallucinogen for him. But I don't know, man. I think one of the only things about his story that kind of puts me on the fence about it is the fact that he kind of puts himself in this. He had the master say you are a worthy man of this information. We're trusting you to do this, and it's that could very well happen, but also it's if you're going to make up a crazy story about yourself, you're going to make yourself the main character who's going to be the hero. That basically his story is the beginning of the hero's journey that never came to fruition.
That's a good
You know what I mean?
That's a good little thing to pick up on that. It would kind of go over most people's heads, It's oh yeah, well of course we know he's trustworthy. He's the one that has the story, so of course they'd say that.
Yeah.
It's a nice little detail.
That's not me saying that he isn't worthy of that knowledge if it is true. I mean, he obviously was doing crazy leaps and bounds. He was a badass. He was doing crazy shit, and he was going to their front door, literally the Antarctic. So why wouldn't he? It's you're the most famous person to come down here. We don't get many visitors. You know what I mean?
You're welcome, I guess. Okay.
It's we're going to try to tell you this because our Nazi UFOs were not getting through to your government. It's maybe you will. And then they just told him, shut up. So I don't know.
All right. I get that.
I don't know,
I think that they're, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's because I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker. I want to believe these things. I want to believe that this guy went to the center of the planet and just saw society. But, rationally, it's do we have the evidence to support that? No, not even slightly. But I'll say this, that's actually a very good segue into what I want to talk about next. The Earth itself, Jake, this is a guessing game.
What do you want?
Right now. How many miles deep is it? How many miles deep do we have to go to get to the center of the Earth?
In this...
in reality.
In reality.
Just with our scientific data of today, the numbers we have presently.
It's 2,000 or 4,000 miles.
You're very close.
Or something like that.
It is 1,802 miles.
Ah, that's fine.
Now here's the bigger piece of information. How deep have we gotten?
I think the deepest, because I think I was reading the deepest that any drill has ever gone is 7.5 miles or some shit.
Yeah, 8 miles deep.
Damn, I'm so close every time.
8 miles deep is how far we have gone.
Yeah.
So we have, I hate to set them up and knock it down this way like a T-ball, but it's like we have barely scratched the surface, okay? Like we
Quite
don't
literally, yeah.
We don't even understand. And then what we presume today, that's just to get there, like that ball of magma that's in the middle, And once you get in there, the radius of that is almost 3,000 miles. So it's like, it goes deeper. It goes much deeper, but we just, you're going to drill through fucking lava? Like, good luck.
Maybe.
Yeah, we've only been able to drill down into the earth 8 miles. Roughly 8 miles.
Yeah.
And once you get to that point, the equipment that we have at our disposal today, it just can't do it. It overheats. It gets it gets stuck. It breaks. There's no point. We just cannot go deeper than that at the moment.
And for those of you that are going to maybe look this up, there are oil drills that have drilled technically a longer distance, but they weren't directly straight down.
Yeah.
A lot of them were at like an angle.
Yeah, if you've ever seen that Simpsons episode, Who Shot Mr. Burns? The one where he steals the oil.
He fracks Moe's bar.
Yeah, that you would. That's actually not a joke. That's how oil rigs are built. Obviously, they're not slanted in that way, but the actual pipes they go, they cover a long distance to the side because not only is it easier to do, it creates more like velocity for the oil to be able to come up. You don't have to just suck it. It's like it can kind of just like slide
You
up.
got to ease in for the oil spew.
You have to. It takes less energy to pull it out as opposed to it being straight up and down.
It's working smart, not hard.
And yeah, we're only talking about certain expeditions where their goal was to see how physically deep they could dig into the earth, like the good old like dig your way to China thing. That's what they were going for.
Yeah.
So we are like, I mean, that's barely a percentage. It's like. It's an insanely low number.
Not enough.
So this is where we kind of get the idea of like, okay, so we are to believe that, it's just different layers of rocks and chemicals. And then once you get down there to a certain point, it's so hot that it's lava, right?
Not to mention gravity. If you're in the very center, I can't imagine it's going to do anything good to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Probably just crush you into a ball. If you're not melting.
We're actually going to rewind a little bit, okay? We're going to go all the way back in time to 1692. All right? We're going to talk about a little guy named Edmund Haley. All right? That name might be familiar.
Comet shows up sometimes.
Yeah. He was the guy that founded and named the Halley's Comet. Most people over the age of like 10 have heard of that existence. So he was one of the original people that came up with the idea of what would later become the hollow earth theory. He was using data that they collected, on how different compasses wouldn't work, or there would be errors in compasses. And he was kind of trying to figure out, mapping the magnets of the planet. And one of his proposals, it's a little confusing, so bear with me. I'm gonna like explain it, and then I'm gonna try to change the wording to make it more digestible. Apparently, he's saying that we're a bunch of interconnected spherical shells, and we all spin in different directions. So it would just be like we're like a layered cake. We're riding one wave of the Earth, and below us is another wave, and they're rotating in the opposite direction of us, okay? This is why magnets would work, because, we have that differentiating current constantly happening underneath us, and that's how we get magnetization. So that was what his proposal was, and it went very deep, and it kind of got, like, a little weird. They all went in different directions. He said there could be up to 9 or 10 different layers of the Earth, and they're all separated by, like, essentially atmospheres. They all have their own atmosphere that can sustain life. And that's what kind of separates us from them. That's what keeps the Earth from collapsing on itself, is a series of atmospheres and then outer crusts. All right? Are we picking up what this guy's putting down right now?
Yeah, it sounds like he may have eaten some ergot.
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
Maybe. Or he was just fucking super cool.
So this theory really got picked up. There were people all around. Some scientists. I'm not a science guy. Maybe this guy's famous. Leonard Euler. Yeah, I wanted him.
Sounds good.
And then you had Sir John Leslie. All right.
Sir John Lennon?
Close. Leslie, like the woman's name.
He was in the Beatles, right?
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
These two guys separately, a century apart from each other, were mathematicians, and they actually were kind of trying to do the math to prove this theory. And, I mean, yeah, obviously answers have been skewed, but supposedly they were able to say that this, at least according to math, could be an actual thing that, in theory, could function.
That's pretty cool. Math don't lie.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie.
Unless you get it wrong.
And perhaps they had strange data. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But according to what they had in their math, and these guys, one of them was knighted, okay? He's a sir, all right? He's a fucking, this guy knows what he's doing.
He's going to try not to fuck up.
And this guy says that mathematically it is possible for this to be a theory. It doesn't necessarily mean he believes it. It's just that the numbers are there to support this guy's fucking thought.
There you go.
So we have a bunch of different people. Then later in life, the guy, I don't know if you've heard of these things. They're called Symes holes. You know what I'm talking about?
It sounds dirty.
This is essentially, this guy came along and he took the theory and ran with it. And Symes holes, they're, contrary to popular belief, they're not sex things. John Clevis Symes, his name threw me off the middle. Clevis.
Wait, Clevis Symes? And he's talking about Symes hole?
Well, he's the one that coined the term,
Yeah, sure.
Because he published like a pamphlet book named Circular Number 1.
It was called Playboy Magazine.
Pretty much, yeah.
Play Symes.
Dirty Earth magazine. And this guy said...
Plunge down.
The Symes holes play in because these holes, they're the entrances to the hollow Earth. They're on both of the poles of the planet. This is where, Admiral Byrd would have entered in through one of these Symes holes. I guess we just accept that. Part of the theory, they're just there. But this is interesting to me because the theory kind of over time develops. And unlike the flat Earth, which there's not a lot of meat or potatoes to the flat Earth, it's pretty much like...
It's like, we're a game board.
Yeah, it's a flat surface, and everybody's lying about it. That's really it. Like, the hollow Earth, there's a lot more history to it. And not saying that there's not history to the flat Earth, because there is. But this is more substantial. This is internationally known. There's in Buddhism, they believe that there is society underneath the planet that we live on.
Yeah.
That's... Like, there's religions, there's belief systems.
I mean, even dating back to Greece with, like, the underworld and shit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like this, it has a lot more depth, to say the least, I guess. That's
even the Christian hell, yeah.
But it has a lot that can kind of ride on it. And then over time, they kind of ditched these concentric circles. And they went, once this introduction of Circular Number 1 by Symes, we kind of shift from Haley's view of it, and we get into this view where it literally is just a giant cave system. There's a thick crust on the outside that supports us, who are, I guess, on the outside, or we assume so. Everything else is in the center.
Like maybe we're on the inside is what you're saying? Like, what do you mean?
The reason I say that is because proposed theories... Now, these are proposed, and this is something that I find interesting.
Are we like Truman Showed?
It may be.
Oh.
Here's how it goes. So, we do understand, and we acknowledge as a race, I assume, I hope, in the center of the Earth, it's hot. There's just some hot shit going on in there, right?
Yeah, he thinks it's hot shit.
Whatever you believe about this planet... It's pretty much accepted that whatever's underneath us is very warm. And why is that? Why do we feel that way? Because the hollow earth theory suggests that there is an entire universe, and they live in mirrored images of us. So think of the globe as a whole, and then pinpoint yourself on that globe. You're standing on it on the outside of it, correct?
I think.
In the proposed hollow earth theories, the earth is shifted inwards. So erase the outside of the planet, and you're standing, but instead of facing up towards what we perceive space, you're facing down into what we perceive as space below us. What's downward space? I don't know what that is.
Downward space, that's it's just some extra large trousers or something.
Think of, here's a good one. For those of you that are on the internet and active, there's those things they're like plush toys, and they're one color, and then they're reversible, and then they're another color.
Oh, yeah, and like the pillows with a picture of Nick Cage, if you swipe up, but then you swipe down, it's just all sparkles.
No. This would be, think of, okay, so Jake, what's in this room? We have a crocodile head.
We do, there's a croc,
right?
I see it.
Think if there was a way to push it inwards into itself, and then it maintains its form, but it's just upside down.
Okay.
That is what we're working with. So we would be living inside the Earth, and we'd have no idea because there's oceans, there's atmosphere, and there's space. There's the sun. This is a little bit shattered. If we are to believe in the hollow Earth theory, I think we should accept that we're living on the outside because we have explored space. And we've
Maybe
gone
the space
more...
is just the inside of a much larger Earth.
Again, maybe it's a
huge
portal.
macro Earth.
It's some sort of dimensional portal. Now, people believe these theories for a multitude of reasons. One that has actually garnered attention by scientists, not necessarily in recent years. I'm sure there's people that are interested in it. But the idea that the weight of everything we are would take us out of gravitational orbit. And if we were to have a hollow Earth, that might explain why we are able to be in the same gravitational pull as, let's say, Uranus, which is a pure gas planet. It's just gas.
Well, my anus is a pure gas planet, that's for sure.
Right? That's fair enough.
Yeah,
That's fair.
There we go.
I don't necessarily buy this theory because I feel as if there's other planets. I can't say for certain that Mercury and Venus are completely as large or as deep as Earth. I don't know that, but they're rock planets as well. Like they're hard mineral material, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they see this as a way to prove that we're kind of on the outside edge of where gravitational pulls might get weak. And if we are hollow on the inside, we'd be able to easilier, is that a word?
More easily?
I prefer easilier. That's not a word, though.
It does sound nice. It reminds me like a British guy. With
Easily,
really long legs walking. Easilier.
But we'd be able to essentially stay in orbit longer. Okay? Are we all caught up here? Are we following?
Yeah, we're hollow, so we have gravity and are fine.
Another way, I'm going to go back to explaining what this Earth would look like from the outside perspective. If you already get a good image of what I'm saying, that's fine. But for those of you familiar with The Simpsons, there's that episode where Mr. Burns sneaks into the house, and him and Smithers are up on the roof with those sticky shoes.
Yeah.
That's the perfect representation. If somebody was standing on your roof with their head pointing towards the floor, that is what the hollow Earth would be. Their gravity sucks them upwards, which to them feels like it's down, but to the outside perspective, it's actually up. Right?
So the blood doesn't rush to their heads.
Jake, we're talking about blue spheres, okay? Gravity, I don't even know if they need
their
it.
blue Raz Kool-Aid blood doesn't rush to their heads.
No, it doesn't. The Kool-Aid
All
man,
right.
he stays completely fucking full. The
Okay.
pitcher's ready.
So basically what you're saying is the Earth is not like a jawbreaker, more like a wonder ball.
Okay, yeah. That's
Something like that.
That's what we're talking about here.
I miss Wonder Balls.
So that's kind of what the proposed theory has become. Obviously, there's a bunch of different people that believe a bunch of different things. And then we kind of get into some of the weirder stuff. All right, I want to talk about some of the fun little theories. Argentina. All right, what are they known for? Soccer and housing Adolf Hitler, who faked his own suicide. Correct?
That's it? Nothing else?
I don't mean to disrespect the Argentina, but that's all we know about you. That's all we got.
I mean, I won't argue that that's all I know about it.
That's what we got. But no, rewind. Argentina does not hold the corpse of Adolf Mussolini Hitler. I don't think that's his middle name, but
it should be.
There are people that believe that Hitler has escaped and gone to the Hollow Earth. And this is why they believe the following connection to Admiral Byrd, the Nazis. Maybe the Nazis, who loved the idea of space travel, loved the Hollow Earth.
Okay. Well, wait. So would that be implying that Hitler got the swastika from the Hollow Earth people? Or that when Hitler went there after he went to Argentina, just the Hollow Earth, did he like spread that around? Which one?
Probably, I mean, I would just assume based on the timeline that it would be Hitler got it from them, you know?
That's what I'm thinking. That would make more sense, but also...
Right.
So what connection do the Indian people, where that symbol came from, have to the inside of the Earth?
Right, who knows?
Oh my God, we're breaking ground. What are we supposed to do?
Mitch, this is a topic that you like, because, you know, we talked about this forever before. Now that we're at this point in the episode, I want you to weigh in a little bit. Where are you lying on the Hollow Earth? Are you standing upside down or right side up?
Are you lying?
Well, most of what I know from Hollow Earth theory is the Admiral Byrd story and like the Corey Good stuff. And the thing with the Corey Good stuff is it was just so like fantastic because it incorporated all these different, you know, theories. Like they're talking about aliens and more, you know, they go into conspiracy theories and talk about, you know, cryptids. But what he proposed, or, you know, from Corey Good's stories, I guess, you know, if you believe him or not, is that there are essentially a race of human beings from the future that live inside the Earth, and they've actually created an artificial sun on the inside of the Earth. And all these different races of people from the future are like literally the different races of people. So it's like you have like Caucasian, you have African, you have like sort of like a Hispanic community, you have you know, Asians. And I just thought it was so like enthralling, like the story. And I know there's a lot of different sources like from history that tell stories about the Hollow Earth. I just can't remember a lot of them. So I don't know. That's really all I know about the Hollow Earth.
That's fine. That's just
that's all I can remember, really.
Yeah. No, that's all right. I saw a bunch of little snippets about Hollow Earth, but I can't really relate any names to them. I do know that one guy's like account was like, he was like, yeah, he was greeted by 12-foot people. It's like, Jesus, just giant people, and they were like T-Rexes roaming around.
Yeah, Admiral Byrd.
No, it wasn't Admiral Byrd. He didn't say that they were 12 feet tall. There was a different dude from, I don't know. See, this is why I need a computer.
Yeah. Yeah, really. Well, I think they kind of tie it in with the, what do they call those aliens? They look just like, Nordics.
Oh, yeah, the Nords.
They tie it in with the Nords, and I think that's like where like the Nazi connection comes in with like the, you know, like the superior race.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, well, the aliens are, you know, they're Aryan, so, you know.
And they're in the Earth, I guess. doing
that's
stuff.
That's just the theories. I'm not saying
symbol.
I'm not saying I believe this. Even the Corey Good stuff, it's so fantastic. It's like hard to believe. Then I don't know. I've done research on Corey Good, and he doesn't seem like the most like credible person. It seems like he does a lot of stuff for profit. Like a lot of the stuff that he does. But then again, that's just someone's opinion. And I really have no idea.
Oh, good. Me either, really, to be honest. The earth might be hollow. Wonder balls.
It could be. I agree with what you said, Mitch. Because when it comes down to it, a lot of this it's a money grab. I mean, even like I said, if it's an interesting story that you want to hear from Corey Good, you still have to pay for it, you know? And it's not, you shouldn't really have to pay for this knowledge. But then,
well, I mean, whether it's true or not, you got to make money. And
right.
It just seems so ridiculous because it is such a fantastic story that no one's ever really entertained as real. But these people are, so it's like, I may as well get paid for it. This is like what I'm spending my life doing.
So I'm going to get into one final proposal. And I'm kind of glad you brought up the thing about the giants, because it is proposed
Giants.
that in modern day Hollow Earth theory, it's proposed that there might be giants down there. And they kind of see it as like a lush tropical land with a bunch of crazy shit going on, right?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to get into, if you can believe it, we're going to get even a little bit crazier, because this is going to get weirder here now. So, there are people that believe that these Symes holes, right? These all-important holes that you could just sneak into and get down into. A lot of these beliefs, not only do they follow that this is a tropical paradise, but perhaps this is where some of the missing people have gone. There are proposed that the Lemurian people, those familiar with the Lemurians.
The lemurs?
They are supposedly down there, or if you buy into this, now this is a little bit more singular thinking, but the 10 lost tribes of Israel, the people that, they just kind of vanished from history, it's believed that perhaps God himself brought them into the Symes holes.
That is interesting. Wait, so this was a question I was thinking like earlier when Mitch brought up the Nordics, or like the Nordic alien race, like those people. So if that's where the Nords are, is in the earth, and that's where the swastika came from, are the residents of the Hollow Earth anti-Semitic? Because why was Hitler doing that then?
I think the way I see it is that the Hollow Earth, if we are to believe it, let's devil's advocate, we're buying into the story fully and wholly.
It's true. It's real.
The idea that Hitler would get there, they'd probably not necessarily like agree with him, but if he was the one that got there and was like the ambassador to the people, they would probably just assume that the world believed what he believed, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of like how that would work. It's like if you send, like, let's say an alien comes down, right, and they're like, tell us about your planet. We've been observing. How do social interactions happen on this planet? And you had like an anti-Semite that was the guy doing the meeting. Yeah. They'd probably be like, oh, on Earth, everybody just likes Jewish people. Like, that's just how it would be. You know?
But like the whole thing is like the reason why I like brought this up was like, why would the 10 lost tribes of Israel be there and be all right with that?
Well, who knows? Well, here's the thing.
Just changing the subject.
Right? No. I think I have a good answer for you. Yeah. So when it comes to like the conspiracy world, there's especially when it comes to like people go crazy. It's like, why were the Nazis doing this if there's connections with aliens and fucking Hollow Earth people, yada yada yada. There is a theory that like the modern day Jews aren't actually the original Jews, like the original Hebrews, and that they're actually like the synagogue of Satan, which is talked about in the Bible, saying that like they're fake Jews. And it kind of ties into history, like how like the Ashkenazi Jews, who are like the European Jews, aren't actually blood related to the original Jews. How, it was kind of taken over by this group of people from like the Caucasus. There's a lot of there's history that goes, actual history that is involved in it, and a lot of theorizing and kind of leaps, but people make correlations with these theories with all this Nazi stuff.
Why do you like what is it like? The conspiracy theories, they always never look favorably on Jewish people. No. Why is that a common thing?
That is
why.
That honestly, that deserves an episode to itself.
Why do people hate Jewish people so much? It's so weird.
The Jews really, they're not. They don't have. I mean, they have a big following, but people outside of them just do not like them.
They seem nice.
I've never had an issue with them.
All
I
of
think
them are
they're
great.
fine.
Seems.
So, according to some modern-day believers, the conditions down in the Hollow Earth sustain life where trees grow thousands of feet tall, okay?
Cool.
And humans can grow up to and around 35 feet tall.
Can you
enormous.
Imagine?
Enormous. Now, you might ask yourself
giving birth to babies the size of us. Whoa, that'd be good.
Now that we've kind of given you this overlay of what may or may not be in there, what people believe, what it looks like, kind of how it operates, you might be asking yourself, well, why in the name of all that is holy have we not tried to go there? Why aren't we just trying it?
I don't know.
We've
obviously gone there to some degree, Admiral. Mr. Byrd.
Well, we've never actually gone there. You know what I mean? There's stories of people, but we've never actually been there.
We haven't planted a flag yet.
So we, believe it or not, actually, it took forever. It took years and years to get this expedition off the ground. But finally, between the years 2000 and 2010 is when all the planning and everything came to fruition. We were going to go. The North Pole Inner Earth Expedition is where we were headed, right?
Who was funding that?
This was funded by a bunch of, private bankers, rich people, volunteer people that were interested in the idea of Hollow Earth and wanted to learn more, okay?
Badass.
But supposedly, an international banking conspiracy shut the whole thing down. It is a little dicey. I'm going to give you this. It gets a little dicey because one of the main investors in the project died in a plane crash. Another investor died of very, very fast and rapid-moving cancer that killed him in under 4 months. They diagnosed him dead in 4 months.
Wow.
And then upon all this, there's these weird things and people kind of backing out, and they're like, oh, I don't know. The main funding that was coming from, private banks that were willing to, they make it sound better. They're like, oh, a private bank. They probably just got bank loans. They finally backed out and they pulled the plug and they were like, yeah, no money from us. And that left them with zero funding. And essentially the plan of this expedition, they were to get one of the ice cutting boats, those real big, things that they send through the Arctic.
I think they're literally called ice cutters.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah.
They were going to take that and kind of build it up and make it a little bit tougher than what they normally are. And they were just going to drive it into the fucking North Pole. And they were going to... It had a kind of a double meaning. They wanted to go to prove their Hollow Earth theory. And other people and investors wanted them to do it because... Why not? Just go to the North Pole.
Sounds like a badass machine to come out of it,
Go check out the North Pole. Let's see if we can get a fucking boat up there, see what you find. I don't know. Just check it out. It's the North Pole.
They're trying to find Santa.
But with, they never really got the chance to do that. So it backed out, and this led to the bigger theory that there was some weird international conspiracy against people going there and learning knowledge for themselves.
Well, I mean, it is kind of weird to think about. Can you imagine just one day we discover a whole other just population of people in the Earth, and we just have to deal with that somehow? How does that start? We just handshakes? What do they might think that's a threat? Who knows?
Dude.
Do they know everything about us? Because we don't know pretty much anything about them. That's kind of scary. Why would we trust them?
I've been doing something for years that has prepared me for this very conversation, okay?
Kegels?
Gears of War. That's literally the entire plot of that game.
Oh, yeah.
Literally the entire plot of that game is fucking the Earth is hollow, things live there, and they're mad at us, and they want to kill us.
Is there like a real-life Nasher? Because we got to atomize some bitches. Then.
Yeah, we got to make some chunky
We got to make
people.
them some chunky soups.
Now, this is essentially, I mean, this is where we're going to just kind of, we're going to cut off the legs here, because we can go in a lot deeper, no pun intended. We can go...
We're going to cut off the legs and go deep. Wow, all right.
But the truth is, the Hollow Earth theory, past this point, I mean, even up to this point, maybe your opinion has this just as crazy as other conspiracies. After this, it gets even murkier. Like, it's really just people out there, like, throwing shit up on internet forums, like, what about this? And it's like, well, that is interesting. I'm not going to listen to, Pirate Bandit Booty Snatch 21. That's all that's all I know who you are. You're not going to get the credit. Pretty much the Hollow Earth in a nutshell. It's a cool idea. It's
in
fun.
a nutshell, I get it.
Right.
There we go.
We want to live in a world where this is reality because it's just fun. It's a little bit different than what we're used to. It's like, oh, we can go on vacation inside the Earth. But it's just as crazy, I would say, as the flat Earth theory. And I hate to put that stamp on it, but personally, it's like we just don't have enough means to disprove it, as many means to disprove it as we do with the flat Earth, where we can literally go up and be like, look, just look at it. That's
It's all
you got to do.
Photoshop, dude. It's all Photoshop. It's fake.
We certainly don't have the means to do that. But I don't think it's never really garnered as much interest because I think a lot of people that believe it like truly believe it, and they're not gonna like let it become a joke.
I won't lie. I watched a TED Talk about Hollow Earth.
Right? Yeah, no, I did the same. It
She
might have
was
been the
very
same one.
convinced. Yeah, was it really bad quality?
Yep. Yeah, we watched the same one.
Just like a woman, like, I've tried to question everything, including the Earth, and then it was just nothing.
So, Admiral Byrd, love him or hate him, the guy has one of the coolest stories that I think has ever been told.
He's badass. He's a cool guy. He was a cool guy.
Mm-hmm. He probably still is if he's dead, if his energy is somewhere.
And he was sent back to the center of the Earth.
Ooh, yeah.
He's that much closer, at least 6 feet closer.
But we do understand that throughout time, our perception of the Earth has changed. Our science, our math, we've learned more, and we've been able to kind of pick things up from the past and use them today to understand what we need to do. And while back in history, the Hollow Earth might have had, more symbolical meaning to religions and things like that, scientifically, while, those mathematicians proved that it could exist, we just don't have evidence to support it. We have a lot of evidence to support what we, universally believe now, that it's a dense Earth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, proving a possibility is still pretty big. Mm-hmm. Just like, all right, this is mathematically possible. It's like, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
That is pretty fucking nuts. They're just like, we figured this out. We don't even have computers yet.
Mm-hmm. So, in all, that was pretty much the Hollow Earth series for you guys.
There you go. It might be hollow.
It might be. That's really, you listened to 2 hours of material for us to just tell you that the Earth might be hollow.
It might be air down there.
Yeah, you don't know. Maybe that's where all fucking sewage goes. Maybe the sanitation people know about it and they're keeping it from us.
Oh my god.
Dude, the Chud, the cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers, you mean they're down there?
Yeah, they're always down there.
How about Chud 2? It was called Bud the Chud. It was just about a Chud named Bud.
It was the next Air Bud movie.
He's like, this is the cannibal version of Air Bud.
He plays badminton and eats people.
Oh, I would fucking pay a lot of money to see that.
I would love it. But
I will leave you all with one message to get you through your week or your month or whatever. If you are looking for just pure lightheartedness and fun, just look up pictures of Brendan Fraser from this year, from 2021.
No, it's great. It looks like a wheel of cheese.
He is just so like happy and wholesome, and I love it. I eat that shit up. I love it like none other. So I leave you all with that.
He's looking good.
And it's funny because he even ties in because he was in the movie Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Oh, good
So
Lord.
it just so happens that Brendan Fraser, you need to look at him and watch that movie, and that's all you need to know.
Synchronicity. Yeah, we did this episode. Brendan Fraser's back on the meme game.
Oh,
All
yes,
right.
he is.
And he is like the craziest man, okay? Like, just a photograph of him. No captions, no alterations. Oh, it's a meme.
Yeah.
It's just a picture of Brendan Fraser.
What Nicolas Cage is to film, like when how we appreciate Nicolas Cage in movies, is how I appreciate Brendan Fraser just in day-to-day life.
Just it capturing his image.
Yeah, it's just like his presence is just enough to
It's
be like,
I
no way.
You just get to marvel at it.
I love him so much. I would love to just hang out with him and just like be like, hey, Brendan, what's up?
What did you say earlier? It was like he's like the human Master Shake.
Yeah, from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Totally, I see it.
They got like the
I see
same facial structure. I know he's a cup.
It's mainly like the lips.
It's the lips and the eyes.
Lips.
Like they have the same look going on. Maybe he's in the cup. I don't know. Oh, that's a fun fact. For those of you that want to know what's inside of Master Shake, it is pink, but it's according to the internet, it's mocha flavored. He's a mocha shake. Just so you know.
Okay.
But with all that being said, that is effectively our episode for the week.
That's it.
We love you guys very much. We will be back with a hot new episode. You're gonna we're always back with new episodes. You're gonna love it.
It's true. It's every Friday.
We do it all the time. We have fun and we just love doing it.
Yes.
And then we also love the podcast. But
and
with that
you
being
guys,
said,
most of all.
yeah, we
Right?
like.
Especially the patron people. By the way, there's a link for the Patreon right below here where you're listening.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
you're all right. You're all right.
Patreon is there. We're also on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can email us at startacult@gmail.com.
That you can do. We love you all, and I will talk to you guys next week.
So will I, because I'm Jake, and that's Grant, and Mitch was here, and that's the end of the episode because we are starting a cult.
Bananas!